There we go. So I made a note on my phone about what I wanted to talk to you guys about, so let me find that. Стоит ли учить английский язык именно с носителем языка? Всем привет, я Джастин, я носитель английского языка, и я, конечно, люблю учить вам мой родной чудесный английский язык. И вы уже знаете, что я обычно снимаю видео только на русском языке. But today, I'm going to do this video in English for you guys for two reasons. И, кстати, не забудь включить субтитры, если они уже не играют. Или идет, я не знаю, какой глагол выбрать. For one, I want you guys to get some listening practice, which means listening to how I speak English, how I form and pronounce words and sentences. And secondly, I really just want to have a little powwow with you guys about an important topic, which I think people don't really talk enough about in the English learning community. By the way, powwow is a небольшой неофициальный разговор обычно между друзьями. So, let's talk about whether or not you should learn English with a native speaker. I see all the time in real life and on the internet where somebody who's wanting to learn English but doesn't speak a word of English wants to learn specifically with a native English speaker. And that's kind of frustrating to see. I mean, how are you going to understand anything that your teacher is explaining or saying to you if they don't speak your language and can't explain it to you in your language? Trust me, you're probably not going to understand much of it at all. I had Russian teachers in the beginning when I was learning Russian who didn't speak a word of English, and it was absolutely brutal. So, if you're an adult and you're still at a beginner level or you're just starting out, so like A1 or A2 English, then I highly recommend that you get a Russian teacher to learn English with. I know so many Russian teachers who teach English and could explain English grammar way better than I ever could. Are my lips shiny? Why are my lips so shiny? And the reason for why that is because when you study a language as a second or a foreign language, you tend to study all the grammar piece by piece, and you rarely get a good grasp of all the rules and the exceptions and why things are said the way that they are. Seriously, I've actually tried explaining to several Russians your very own case system, and usually I get a response like, «Ой, ты прав, я даже об этом не думал. Я не думал, почему мы так говорим». Honestly, until 5 to 6 years ago when I started teaching English seriously, I never would have been able to explain to you the difference between present perfect and present continuous. Most native English speakers wouldn't be able to tell you that. My point is, guys, when you're at a beginner level, you don't need a native English speaker to study with. Find a Russian who can explain English grammar to you 10 times better than I ever could. So, then at what level does it make sense to study English with a native speaker? In my opinion, it's at the end of B1. Because at the end of B1, as you move into B2, your focus starts to shift towards more informal and spoken expressions and sentence constructions. It's also around that point that you're going to be able to speak English well enough to have actual conversations with a native speaker like myself without ever needing to use Russian. And as you move higher into B2 and eventually into C1, you'll find that your focus, your actual objective, shifts into speaking and sounding more like a native speaker. This means choosing more informal sentence structures, incorporating more slang and idioms and expressions into your speech. There are two major benefits to studying with a native speaker once you reach this more advanced level. It's no secret that by listening to how we pronounce things will definitely help you improve your own pronunciation in English, and really pronunciation at this level does become a huge hurdle or obstacle to pushing your English into sounding more like a native speaker. The second benefit is that you'll learn to mimic and copy the word choices and sentence structures that we use. So as I said before, your goal at this level becomes more to speak not just grammatically correct, but to speak more like a native speaker. And the best way to do that is to mimic, copy, and repeat what we say and how we say it. By copying our pronunciation and copying our word choice, you're really going to boost your English from grammatically correct textbook English to a level that better reflects native speech. So, just to recap my opinion for you guys here on whether or not I think it's worth it to study English with a native speaker, the answer in short is if you're at a beginner level, I don't think that it is. I think that it's better for you to find one of the incredible, well-educated Russian teachers who can explain grammar to you better than any of us ever could. But as you move into the B and the C levels, you'll start to notice that your goals will change, and native speakers will definitely be able to help you push your English up to that proficient level with respect to pronunciation, informal English, and get you sounding a lot more like a native speaker. So guys, that's all, but let me know what you think of my opinion. I really just wanted to share that little bit of information with you because I do feel like there's a stigma in the English learning community that Russian teachers aren't good and that you absolutely must learn from a native English speaker. But as I said, that just doesn't always make sense, and certainly not when you're at a beginner level. И в конце, если тебе видео понравилось, то ставь лайк и подписывайся на канал, если ты хочешь еще слышать мое дикое мнение об английском языке и о России с точки зрения иностранца. Все, пока.